All right, so today we have talked about multiplying one-step equations, and today we have division problems. And for whatever reason, this seems to be the most difficult part for students. And I don't know if it's because you see a fraction, but what you're going to do, the same steps. You're going to show what you do to both sides. You're going to simplify each side and then check your answer. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. Now, if I go too fast, just pause the video to catch up. All right, so let's look at the next problem. You have m divided by 5 equals 7. When you see a fraction bar right here, that means division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. You want to multiply by the reciprocal or the denominator, which is 5. So you're going to multiply by 5, which is 5 over 1. This is 1m, but it's understood that it's 1m. So you're going to multiply by 5 over 1 on both sides, or just 5. When you do that, you're going to cross these out because that equals 1. On the left side, you're left with m equals 35. And then circle your answer. Now, to check it, we are going to plug in the information. So we're going to plug in the information. So 35 divided by 5 should equal 7. Well, 35 divided by 5 is 7, and 7 equals 7. So yes, we are correct. Okay? So if I go too fast, just pause the video. All right, next problem. R divided by -3 equals -9. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to, opposite of division is multiplication. You want to make sure that you are multiplying by the reciprocal, and make sure that this is a -3. You're going to multiply by a -3. Not 3, but -3 on both sides. When you do that, again, this cancels out, and R equals a negative times a negative is a positive, so this would be positive 27. Now, to check it, we're going to plug R in, which is 27. So 27 divided by a -3. A positive divided by a negative should give me a negative. So 27 divided by a -3 is a -9. 27 divided by a -3 is a -9, and yes, -9 equals -9. Okay? All right, next one. H divided by a -7. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply by a -7 on each side. This cancels out. H equals a -21. Now, when you are checking your problem, always check and make sure, does it really work? Because sometimes students will not multiply, they will divide, and they'll get the wrong answer. So when we check this problem, we're going to plug in H, which is a -21. We're going to divide by a -7. Two negatives equal a positive, so a -21 divided by a -7 is a +3. Yep, this equals 3, so 3 equals 3. Yes, it works. So you're going to plug it back in. Okay, the last problem is E divided by 4 equals a -8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides. This cancels out. E equals a -32. I'm going to check. I'm going to plug in E. So -32 divided by 4. And know that if I have one negative, my answer will be negative. So it'll be a -8. So now I want to make sure that I am correct. A -8 equals a -8. And that is correct. All right, last one. Now, we want to set up the equation. So a bag of candy is divided evenly. So here's your key word. A bag of candy is divided evenly among a class of 23 students. Each student got 4 pieces. How many pieces of candy were in the bag? Let P represent the number of pieces of candy. So we don't know how many pieces were in the bag. That's our total. And remember, when you're dividing, the total goes first. So it's P divided by 23 students. And that equals 4 is our total. So we want to figure out, well, how many pieces were in the bag altogether? For this particular problem, they just want you to be able to set up the equation. Okay, and how do you know what the equation is? This word right here, divided by, tells you it's a division problem. Okay, so how would you solve it? You would multiply both sides by 23. So if you multiply by 23 on both sides, okay, so 23 times 4, that's 12, that's 8, that's 92. This cancels out. Okay, makes sense? All right, so once you're done with those notes, go ahead and go back to, we've already done 1 through 7 here. Now you're going to go back and you're going to do the rest of the problem. So for example, let's look at this one here. B divided by 4. When you see a division bar there, that means division. So the opposite of division is to multiply. We're going to multiply by 4 on both sides. This cancels out. B equals 48. And to check that is, we're going to plug that in. 48 divided by 4 should equal 12. 12 equals 12. We're right. Okay? So that's how you're going to do those problems. So if you forget how to solve these problems, go back and look at all of your notes. So you should divide when you're multiplying. And when you're multiplying, you're going to divide. You're going to do the inverse operation to solve. So go ahead and solve and check. Okay, and of course, if you have any questions, just let me know during class.